Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring the incredible story of Junaid Jamshed. We're talking about a pioneering pop rock superstar who pulled off one of the most profound life pivots you'll ever hear about, completely transforming himself into a devoted preacher, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist who ended up inspiring millions. To really understand this man, you have to look at this powerful quote. It perfectly captures the core philosophy that would eventually redefine his entire existence and shape his lasting legacy.
So just to give you a quick snapshot of who we're talking about here, born in Karachi in 1964, Junaid Jamshed Khan was actually an engineering graduate who somehow became the literal voice of the Pakistani nation. He built a massive retail empire, the J clothing brand, and deeply impacted people globally before his shocking death in 2016 at just 52 years old. Let's trace how this all unfolded. Following his early life and those engineering studies, everything really kicked into high gear in 1987. The release of a track called Dil Dil Pakistan essentially launched his absolute dominance of the pop music scene throughout the late 80s and well into the 90s. But then, the second half of his journey takes a wildly dramatic turn. In the early 2000s, he leaves mainstream music completely behind. He pivots entirely into Islamic preaching, delivering global nasheeds and diving into entrepreneurship, right up until his tragic passing in a 2016 plane crash. Let's rewind a bit. Growing up as the son of an Air Force officer, his youth was totally defined by frequent relocations. Being raised in a disciplined military household forged this incredible work ethic in him, while his naturally energetic and curious personality sparked a really surprising teenage passion for music. Despite that little musical spark, he actually initially played it safe and pursued an engineering degree in Lahore. But funny enough, that university campus is exactly where he bumped into the talented friends who would alter his destiny forever. Teaming up with Rahel Hayat and Shahzad Hassan in the mid-80s, they formed a band called Vital Signs. Now, they started super small, just playing college gigs and local events. They had absolutely no idea they were about to revolutionize Pakistan's entire music industry. Because in 1987, everything changed. They released Dil Dil Pakistan, and almost overnight, Junaid was transformed into the country's very first modern pop superstar. It was electric. You really couldn't escape this song. This legendary patriotic track became universally beloved. I'm talking heavy rotation on television, booming at major sporting events, headlining Independence Day celebrations, and echoing through schools everywhere. And it wasn't just a one-hit wonder situation either. Alongside his later solo work, he delivered massive hits across heavily awarded albums like Ed Tabar and Hum Tum. He was receiving numerous national honors for literally shaping Pakistani entertainment. Now, to really grasp why this was such a huge deal, you have to consider the context of the late 80s. Private TV was highly limited, and pop music was still in its infancy there. Vital Signs proved that Pakistan could produce world-class modern pop while proudly maintaining its unique cultural identity for a rapidly changing youth. At this point, his achievements were just staggering. Beyond fronting this deeply influential band, he inspired a whole new generation of musicians. And even then, he was dedicating a massive amount of his time and influence to humanitarian causes. But here is where the story takes a massive pivot. Imagine walking away from mainstream music at the very height of your fame. It was a move that completely blindsided and divided his fans. While some supported him, others were honestly just mourning the loss of a great singer. So what did he do? He chose a completely different life. In the mid-2000s, he dedicated himself to religious outreach. He started delivering international lectures and recording popular nasheeds. This dramatic shift actually reflected a broader societal trend in the country toward more public expressions of faith. Now, navigating a highly public new life brings intense challenges, including one instance where a public remark he made generated some pretty heavy criticism. However, he handled it by issuing a very sincere public apology, clarifying that no disrespect was intended and actively seeking reconciliation. And his evolution didn't stop there. Moving into the business world, he launched the J clothing brand in 2002. Channeling that intense entrepreneurial spirit, he successfully expanded it internationally, turning it into one of Pakistan's absolute leading fashion labels. But who was the man away from the cameras? Well, he fiercely protected his family's privacy.
Those close to him described him as soft-spoken, disciplined, humble, and incredibly charismatic. He dedicated his later years to spiritual study while maintaining fiercely loyal, lifelong friendships. When you lay out the facts of his life, they're just unforgettable. Think about it. He originally trained as an engineer, bravely walked away from immense global fame at his absolute peak, and ultimately drew literally millions of people to his funeral prayers. He often reflected on his own surprising, winding journey with profound humility. He'd frequently remind his audiences of this beautiful thought: Allah guides whom He wills, really emphasizing that true direction comes from a higher power. And that sentiment perfectly captures another core message he spent his final decade sharing. It served as a constant, gentle reminder to his listeners about the fleeting, temporary nature of worldly success. So, what is his ultimate legacy? It's remarkably multidimensional. He legitimized pop music in his country, he sparked spiritual reflection in millions, and he built a massive fashion brand. More than anything, he proved that individuals absolutely can radically and successfully redefine their identities. While his physical journey was tragically cut short in that 2016 plane crash, his story remains an enduring inspiration. Through his nasheeds, his recorded lectures, and his thriving business, his influence is still reaching new generations today.